What to know before you watch Spice and Wolf Remake. Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Noble Oath. This new anime that is releasing very soon, and on all of the days, it's on April Fool's. Spice and Wolf has not had an anime series since 2008 to 2009, or I should say 2009, since that was when the second part came out for the original anime. Not only is the new anime remake coming out, but the fact of the matter is that what will this anime entail, because it's mainly the biggest question, and there are some thoughts that I wanted to bring out in this video so that way people can think about like what the future of the series will look like, and moving forward, how will this anime remake change the story of Spice and Wolf? What sort of differences will they add to this new remake? And that got me thinking on the first thought: when will this anime end? As far as I know, and as far as a lot of fans know, the original anime ending ends off in sort of a cliffhanger way. If you've watched the second part of Spice and Wolf, if you have not seen the original anime, I would highly recommend it, even still to this day, even if the remake is coming out. I know that some people may not favor it because of the old animation. Mainly for myself, I don't really care about old animation. I think the dialogue, the story narrative, the way the writing is done in that anime series is just done so fantastically and goes more in depth on economics than any other anime I feel would. And that just goes to show how beautifully written it is. They use trading as this sort of currency based thing in the anime, which I really do love. Spoiler warning ahead of time, so that way people know not to watch the rest of this video for whatever reason you did not finish the original anime. The way the original anime ends is Lawrence goes back to give the money back because he had sold Holo and a chance to gain more profit, which, you know, obviously he found foolish. At the end of the anime original, they basically go on to say that Lawrence fell in love with Holo. It's so beautifully written. It wasn't just overnight that he fell in love with Holo. It was over time, through challenges, through profits, to everything that happened in that anime series in the original. And basically it ends off with them walking away from that old town and going on to, you know, whatever happens in the light novel. And that's something that's never dived into. And not only that, but Lawrence and Holo are more gravitated towards each other in the light novels moving forward past the original anime, where they eventually meet this boy named Cole. They go on an adventure to seek out Holo's original homeland, and that's sort of like where you are left off with the original anime. And with this new series, they have the opportunity of expanding upon that romance, and not only showing all the fan service that people would know and love from multiple anime series and done in past time, but it would give more of a mature look at romance, and that's something that I really would look forward to if they do dive into that. There's this one scene where Lawrence and Holo, they're traveling to, I believe, not Winfield, but it's like the town before Winfield, before they go on to that island of Winfield, which is the home of the sheep daddies, which they go more into that in the light novels. But there's this one scene, which would be the scene where they get stuck because there's like this ship that's just stranded in the middle of a river, and this is like not even in the original anime, but they get stranded and they're traveling with like these group of people, and Cole is one of them, and that is a new character that is introduced. They have like this little mini party sort of thing, and they're all dancing near a bonfire, and there's just so much cool music playing around, and I really love that scene, especially because it gives Holo and Lawrence somewhat of room to actually dive more deeper into their romance and why they actually love each other. You know, they don't just love each other for the fuck of it. It's more of them actually figuring out how they could be compatible with one another. That goes more in depth of what kind of visuals will be this anime remake, because knowing that it is an anime remake, you would expect that, for one, when the original anime adaptation had first come out, you did not see that much of Holo's powers and how she was able to create wheat out of her bare palm hand. When you're talking about Holo's power, you're talking about how wheat can sprout from her hand, and that literally does happen in one of the novels that wasn't touched upon in the original anime, but was a part of that sort of lineage of the original anime adaptation. Of course, it would be unnecessary to show that in the original anime story because they never go on to that part of how she can harvest wheat. I find that to be kind of lost opportunity. Knowing that information, you would love to see how you have her wolf powers, which allows her to transform into this big wolf, which would be very cool to see because you very rarely see it in the original anime. I think it was due to the budget, maybe. There's a lot of interesting and cool scenes where Holo is like this vicious monster because of her powers, and she's somewhat in the beginning afraid to use those powers because most humans and every single human that she's ever come in contact with has found her scary for that reason, hence why she camouflages herself as a nun throughout the entire anime. But it's something that I would love to see more in depth because she can transform each and every part of her body into like this wolf form, this big giant wolf, and it would just be really cool to see. Sometimes if they're in a predicament where they can't travel by wagon because for whatever reason their wagon broke or something, you know, maybe they dive into that and have Holo be like a mode of transportation, which would really be cool to see. This is the biggest one I think would matter the most in this anime, is the fact of how far will they take this anime story. It was recently announced that this anime will be a 26 episode anime. I believe in the original anime adaptation was either 25 or 26. I may be wrong about 25, but it may have been 26. I know they could probably condense 5 volumes into maybe 3 episodes. I know that sounds like a freaking crazy thing to do because there's just so much story in this series of Spice and Wolf. And for them to condense it into just, 3 seasons of that original anime adaptation would absolutely be insane because most anime episodes range from 0 to 25 episodes, which, that's the basic norm for any anime. Going for Spice and Wolf, which has a volume range of 24 volumes at this time of light novels, and only 5 of those cover the original anime adaptation, I would say that you have so much story to go over, especially with the narwhal situation that has never been brought up in the original anime adaptation. A story after the anime where it shines a really cool light on Eve's character, not just Eve but Holo and Lawrence, because they find out that this narwhal apparently has the capabilities of making humans live longer, which sparks an idea in Holo and Lawrence's mind. Well, what if we got our hands on this? Lawrence could probably live up to how long Holo lives up for, and she's lived at least more than 100 years. That situation really does paint a cool light on Holo's situation, and also Lawrence's as well. Their story going on to probably making it to Yoitz, which is the main premise of the story to begin with. Lawrence always wanted to help Holo reach Yoitz because that's her home place, and that's where she was born and raised from. At least being able to see that in this new remake would be really nice, and I think that's something that I haven't even touched upon in the light novels, and I am on light novel volume 12 to be exact, and I haven't even reached Yoitz yet, and I know that's far away in time, but I would really love to see that eventually. So what will this remake mean for the series moving forward? I can imagine that knowing they are making this remake, you would expect them to at least have something to move forward into the future and a story to have planned to discuss in the future past this remake series. If they do retell it in the same fashion that they did in the original, then I can imagine they would either make a movie or they would make another season. That's what I see moving forward with this series, because I would definitely love to see a lot of the story animated rather than just told in the books. But that goes to show how much the imagination is more powerful than any sort of visual animation you could see nowadays. That just tells you that this story is really written well, by Isuna Sensei, which is the creator, obviously an author of Spice and Wolf. And my final thought that I wanted to bring to mind to everyone is more underrated compared to a lot of anime tellings, and not many people pay attention to it. And I thought it was a really cool thing to put into the original Spice and Wolf, which I thought to be very cool, and I hope they bring it back, is the OVAs. Sometimes there would be episodes in the original Spice and Wolf that were just ripped out from the light novel and put into the anime series just as OVAs. And when I mean that, there's an episode where Holo is feeling sick and she has like this cold, and Lawrence is teaching Holo of how sicknesses work and stuff like that in human beings, which I find to be very cool. And that was ripped out from the actual light novel, and you literally read that. It's mainly in the extras section of Spice Wolf, but I do hope they bring back OVAs. OVAs bring a lot of funniness and also light to the series and broaden the horizons of what the world is all about in Spice and Wolf. And I think that would be very cool to introduce that idea, or maybe even bring in some new deities that we've never seen in the original anime but are in the light novels, such as the snake from the Lost Town that we've never seen in the original anime adaptation, where we actually do get to see how Holo uses her powers to actually bring harvest to wheat, which I find to be very cool as well. My concluding thoughts is that this anime will definitely hands down surprise me. I am really looking forward to this anime series, and I can't wait to see what sort of things it brings to the table. I hope that a lot of people are really excited for this anime. I definitely think it will do well. My biggest hope is that they keep that theme of the old English theme going, especially with the soundtrack, which I know will be good. Every time there is a remake, every time they try to remake something or do a different adaptation of it, they always try to modernize it, which, you know, I know won't happen to the series because it's being ran by the original author. So I definitely have high hope for Isuna Sensei that he will produce something really well done. I know it's going to be directed by someone else, but it's being overlooked by the original author, which I believe is hands down the best thing any creator could do for their original anime series. They obviously take good care of it. I hope they bring back the original dub actors for this series, and I don't know if I would watch the sub when it first comes out on April Fools, and I find it very ironic for them to release this anime on April Fools, mainly because of the fact that Holo always calls Lawrence a fool. So that's somewhat of a little Easter egg if OG fans know about that sort of terminology that Holo uses in the anime, which I find to be very cool. And it's an integral part of her character, her calling people fools for their decision making and how they conduct themselves. I just hope that they do this anime justice. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you guys excited for this anime? Feel free to like, subscribe, comment down below your guys' thoughts and opinions. I have been Noble Oath, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.